On Thursday morning, my journey began to Debbie Beard's shop. Had I known at this point what was in store for me that day, I probably would have unpacked my bags. But seriously, I grabbed all my bags, tossed them in the truck. My husband drove me to the airport. We said our goodbyes, and I was just full of excitement, you guys. I could not wait to get to California, see Debbie's shop, meet a bunch of new amazing friends. And like I said, then I got to the airport, and that's when the chaos began. So I'm sitting at the Appleton airport and I still have no idea what's in store for me. I got on the flight and the captain said, we're ahead of schedule. I'm like, yes, I was gonna have a very short window to get to my next flight. And I'm walking through the airport, I get to my terminal, and then that's when they started boarding the plane, and then they onboard it because we had maintenance issues. We had a 3-hour flight delay, and then the new plane came in and we all boarded. We were on the plane for 25 minutes. Then they said there were more maintenance issues. There was a leak, so we had to onboard. Then it got delayed by another hour, and from there, we then had to move terminals. It was chaotic. People were booking new flights, and I went to the new terminal because I figured I might as well try to grab this flight, and third time's a charm. I was in the air, you guys. But this doesn't end my first day adventures. My Uber picked me up and brought me to my Airbnb. I got there, the office was closed, so they advised me to do a self-check-in. I opened up the lockbox, and guess what? No key. They had forgotten to give me the key. So I had to pick up the red emergency phone, call them, and I finally got that situation all figured out. I had the best Uber driver though, guys. He was not gonna leave me because I flew all the way from Wisconsin to California until I was able to get into my Airbnb. He was so sweet. He made sure I got to my location to meet all the gals that evening. And to top it off, I was able to see a glimpse of Debbie's shop. And now the Friday adventure begins with my new friends. So we caught an Uber Friday morning. We headed over to Kobe's swap meet. Now this is something I have been wanting to do for a while, guys. Let me tell ya, I have watched Debbie's videos where her and Ellie head over there and find the best stuff, and I wanted to find some good stuff. I actually had left a bit of room in my carry-on and in my backpack so that I could fit some items that I find here and bring it back to Wisconsin. We found the Kobe's truck, and I wanted to give you a glimpse. This is the amazing group of ladies that I was able to hang out with while I was in California. So I grabbed my ticket and we headed on in, and let me tell you guys, there were so many good things. I could not get over all the amazing stuff that was sitting around and good prices. Honestly, if I had more room in my bag, I would have been taking a lot more home. And wait till you guys hear about that little adventure of getting my items home to Wisconsin. You can find tools here. There are so many unique pieces. Now look at this. I was looking for something small, but this baby weighed an absolute ton. I had never seen anything like it, but it would never have gotten home. This caught my eye. I thought it was super cool. Buttons, you guys, lots of buttons. Oh, I was trying to see if there were any unique ones in there. I do have a collection of these. I make jewelry with them, but nothing super ordinary. You know, most of it was ordinary. Oh, this was very cool. Another gal, Marla, grabbed that. And she also found some amazing furniture pieces. Now that is one thing. There was so much furniture. Obviously, I could not bring that home with me. If I had a U-Haul, I would have packed it full. Now here is where I found some jewelry. I actually found a pair of earrings, and they were silver. I did antibacterial them though before I put them in, but they were super cute. I also found this token, and it's like a necklace made out of brass, so I grabbed that as well. And here's Marla's haul, you guys. Look at that frame. It is gorgeous. And she found this table. Oh my gosh, amazing. And then this table, this bench, she ended up buying that as well, but she packed her car full. Now look at these. I ended up buying them, you guys. I ended up buying both bags, and thank goodness I split them with Tara, the gal that was traveling with me as well. She got these. Oh, are those not amazing brass candlesticks? Amazing. And I ended up grabbing this brass cat. It was so cute, and you guys know how much I love brass. Here's my downfall. This whole entire container of vintage silverware. This is where I went wrong. It caught my eye. I bought it. I bought it, guys. I bought it. Remember, I'm looking for lightweight items. This was not lightweight at all. So after buying that, we ended up running into Debbie and Jamie, and I had to check out what was in their cart. And let me tell you, they found a lot of great stuff too. But really, guys, it's all in the eye of the beholder. So check out what's in their cart. Lots and lots of goodies. Jamie's going to be shipping it all back home. And obviously, Debbie lives here right in town. The only one of us that had any restraint was Shyla, one of my favorite people. Look, she bought only 3 items, and look at how tiny. I give her a ton of credit. But we had an amazing day, and here we all are at the end of our Kobe trip experience. So after Kobe's, we dropped off all of our good finds and we headed on over to Debi's shop. Now you guys, this is when I was so excited. Yes, I tried to take in all the fun details of our walk on over, but I have been dying to see Debi's shop. And when you walk up, the first thing that catches your eye is her blue truck. And this, I have been wanting a photo in front of it for so long. So this is super exciting for me just because I have been, like I said, watching her videos. I've been wanting to see her shop for so long. So I try to take in everything outside, but honestly, like I cannot wait to walk through these front doors. And this is the fence though, you guys, that Debi painted, and I believe like her dad installed it with old vintage boards. But you guys, it's all in the details. Now, when I say the details, every nook and cranny is filled with all kinds of goodies and just so much inspiration. Now, as you stand back, take a look. I mean, look at the front of her shop. Is it not just so cute? And it's right in like a downtown area. So let's go on in and check it out. Now, the first thing that was the new paint inlay, you guys. It was so cute. But I am just gonna give you little glimpses of her shop and a tour of this. And it is like inspired so many ideas for myself. So as I was standing here and I'm looking about, and I love how she's incorporated like the outdoors with her shop. So she's created these tiny little vignettes throughout her entire business. So she has her main shop with all of her products in there and her work area. And then on the outside, she's taken advantage of all these little buildings and she's created little vignettes within those buildings. And it just drummed up a bunch of ideas for myself, and I've been wanting to do like a pop-up shop at my home, and I am thinking I could do something very similar, and so that might be something that I do in 2025, so stay tuned. But let's continue on with the tour. So here are the vignettes, you guys, and each one is so unique and just, like I said, full of such cute ideas. She's curated each one so perfectly. I love them. I absolutely love this. So I am just gonna let you enjoy the rest of the tour outdoors, and then we're gonna head on in. As you walk through the door of her shop, you can see she has all of her DIY paint, her IOD, all her decoupage papers. It's absolutely perfect. And again, she is taking advantage of every single little nook and cranny, and I love how she has it all displayed. Very, very artsy looking, and I am definitely going to be making a board for each one of my molds like she has, so that you really can see all the detail in those IOD molds. I love too how she has like a jewelry area set up, and you can pick and choose which pieces that you'd like. And then in those back doors, that is her creative area. Now, on the other side of her shop, she holds classes, and this is another amazing area, and this is where we are going to be today. And look at this. She has these beautiful tables, this gazebo set up for protection. It is absolutely gorgeous. So for today's Stockist event, the IOD sisters got on stage and they demonstrated to us how they use a paint inlay. Told us like tips and tricks, and at the Flourish conference, Jonathan Mark Mendez and Annie Sloan did a very similar thing. It was just really interesting to see them do it. And Debbie was right on the sidelines cheering them on, and here we are, several of the stockists that showed up for the event. So after that, we had a bit of downtime before the evening festivities started, so we headed on over to the beach to dig our toes in the sand and just enjoy the ocean air. And you guys, I was so lucky to have found such a great group of ladies to hang out with for this trip. The evening festivities were hosted at Debbie's home with a taco truck coming for a taco bar. I didn't take a lot of footage, but we had a great heart-to-heart chat over a fire with all these amazing ladies. And again, I just wanted to really take it all in and not worry about videotaping, but it was completely amazing. It's finally here, guys, the big reveal day and the paint party. And yes, today is the day that Debbie Beard gets to reveal her paint inlay to the public, and I can't wait to take you along and share the stories of the background of the paint inlay and how it came to be.
Look at your beautiful faces. You guys are all the very first people to see it. The internet doesn't see it until 10:30. So you are the very first, other than the retailers.
Now that she's revealed the paint inlay, let's head on in to the party. And look who's behind us. It's Sally, folks. Yes, it is. So there she is, the star of the show, the new paint inlay. And here the party has officially started.
We are so excited that you guys are here. We also have a live audience we've got Debbie's channel, we've got our channel. We are going out to everybody, but our live audience here got to see the inlay very first at 9:30. So are you guys okay if we take a minute and reveal it to our
Sally and Josie asked me to collaborate with them. I was so excited. If you're a creative person, you know when you have an idea, you really have to work hard to get that idea out of your brain and out into the world. And that's been my life for as long as I can remember. And then they said, would you like to collaborate? And this experience was so different. I just kind of said, I would like these colors. And then they would present them and be like, what about this? What about that? It was very easy, and it was like a dream come true experience. All I had to really do was come up with the design and the concept, and that's the fun part. I didn't have to do any of the heavy lifting. And so the design is inspired by my family. I have a whole side of my family that I never met until I was in my 40s. And so I grew up in a family that were not artists or merchants, and that's my passion, to have a retail store and design and art. And they all just kind of didn't get me. Wonderful family, but they just were like, Debbie, what are you doing now?
You're weird.
And then I meet a whole other side of my family from Mexico, and they're all artists and they're all merchants, and they owned a chain of stores in Revolution that were artisanal, that were like the local handicrafts. And my dad, my biological father, I have two wonderful dads, he explained to me that he would gather the local artists and design the embroidery on the clothing, and then these artists would go hand stitch these beautiful embroidered tops and dresses and purses and all kinds of handicrafts. And I've always been really drawn to that. And so this inlay is inspired by the handcrafted folk art from Mexico and my family heritage.
Debbie was one of the first people we thought of when we thought, who would we want to collaborate with? And when she said yes, we were just so thrilled and excited, and it has been a dream. We've been good friends with Debbie for many years, and she is just a kindred spirit. So we're just so thankful for this opportunity to do this collaborative design with her, this inlay. And the inlays are just perfect because Debbie is so incredibly creative, and inlays are such a creative product. They're just artisanal and organic, and there's a lot of movement and opportunity to get creative with them. So it was the perfect product for her to collaborate with us on. I'm going to actually hand the mic over to Josie because she worked with Debbie on this design, and I just kind of want to give you a little bit of backstory about what that was like, and it was really fun.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, you all know that Debbie doesn't like bright colors. Debbie loves bright colors, and we do too, but I will say that I tend towards the slightly more muted, less saturated colors. And so when we were collaborating on this and we had the back and forth, it was so fun. And Debbie would send a palette, and I would say, oh, you know, I love that because it was beautiful, but I'd say, what if we turn this neon orange into like a persimmon orange, and that'll kind of ground it a little bit. And brown. I would send it back, and Debbie would say,
it was brown.
It was brown. It wasn't brown, but okay. And we had that back and forth, and ultimately Debbie, being the visionary behind this design, of course, got her way. And I'm so glad she did, because it is beautiful. It's just perfect. And the fact that it is an expression of her heritage and her family just means so much more to us. And like Sally said, our relationship goes so much deeper than the business side of it, and it's such a special thing. And whenever there's retailers talking to us, oh, we were thinking of, you know, doing DIY paint or collaborating with Debbie, and all we can ever say is with Debbie, like, the word integrity comes to mind, because what she speaks is how she lives. And her heart for people, and the fact that she doesn't compartmentalize her ethics for business and personal. We've all known people in business who say, like, well, business is business, and kind of rationalize things that they wouldn't otherwise do. And Debbie's the opposite of that. She's transparent and we just cherish her. So it was a joy, like both of them say, to work with. And without further ado, there's something we say before we
Let's get ready to rumble.
no. Who sing Clash of the Titans, the old one?
Oh.
Okay. Release the Kraken. Release the Kraken. Without further ado,
Release Speed
Isn't
Up. Gorgeous? All of the color and the beauty, and you can just see what Debbie was talking about and the Mexican
This is where the
heritage.
brown would have been.
All these bright, beautiful colors. We love it. It's just, I don't know if you can get back there and see each individual page.
That led to other paints, and then you came along, and it's just created this wave of creativity and products that I have never seen before. It's so awesome to be in the furniture industry and just watch it revolutionize and evolve. And so I would love to hear how this even started.
So, brief backstory. Josie and I have always worked together. Anything that one of us is doing, we drag the other one into it. So, we grew up, our father was a salesman and our mom was ultra creative. So, she is our original DIY inspiration. And she would go to junk piles, and we would be embarrassed, but intrigued inside. What is she doing? What is she getting?
she would legit, before it was cool, pull over at a dumpster if she saw furniture sticking out.
Yeah.
And she would pull it out of the dumpster.
Before it was a thing.
We were mortified because when you're a tween and that's going on, we're like, yeah. So she was doing it before it was a thing.
Yeah.
She was a hippie making decor.
Macrame. You guys remember when the macrame and
Yeah.
was, well, now it's back. But originally when it was a thing, and she'd go get. I remember walking as a little toddler with her down the city streets, and she would go to these ceramic shops where you could buy the raw piece of ceramics, and she bought this big cat or something. I still remember, but anyway, so she was our inspiration in terms of the creative and the DIY. And then our father was a salesman our entire lives. We moved around a lot, and as soon as we were old enough, we would come along and we would get leads for him. So we learned how to go door to door.
We were door-to-door vacuum salesmen.
It's true.
Believe it or not.
It's true. So if you shut your door and then remember, that was us once. Be kind. Give them a water, something.
It's true. And I don't even know if they do that anymore, but I will say between that, the creative part that our mother instilled in us, working with very little, we live in a wealthy economy compared to just a generation before when we were growing up. And she made her own curtains from thrift shop recycles. And then, like you said, our dad having the entrepreneurial and sales spirit. We would, at Christmas time, we would cut out cardboard donuts and juniper clippings off the junipers in our yard. Our hands would be so stinging and make these little wreaths with the curling ribbon, the red curling ribbon.
Just the cheap curling ribbon.
And we sold them door to door for $2.50 each, and made Christmas money
to buy gifts for everybody.
In fact, I remember the first year we spent, and it feels like it was $30, which was a lot of money, a crock pot for our mom. And that was we were buying an appliance for our mom. We felt pretty fancy, didn't we?
Yeah,
so
that was amazing.
It runs deep from the time we were little, and
it's true. So that's, we always do every business together. We've had several businesses together. They're always creative in nature. We're making things, we're painting. We had a muraling business called Palazzo Decorative Painting. We were on the Christopher Lowell show, if you guys remember that. That was a big highlight for us.
Yes, clever.
It was fun.
And fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
goofy.
so that brings us to, we started working for a company, well, different scrapbook companies. Yeah, we were not employees. We licensed our designs for craft products, so paper crafting, scrapbooking. And we started designing paper and stickers and rub-ons and things like that. At the time, I was very passionate about scrapbooking. I did it all the time, loved it, had all the things. And so that's what kind of pulled Josie into that. And we got into that world, and
it's a lot of stuff.
It is.
A lot.
It is. And, but we were doing digital scrapbooking as well, and that's what got us into designing. We were designing. And so after a while, the paper crafting market started to decline. And we lost our passion for it. Yeah, it was kind of a crash.
Yeah. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah. And the big companies were closing left and right. And we started brainstorming because we were losing our passion for that particular craft as well. And so we thought, what would we do if we could do anything? What are we passionate about? And I remember Josie was at my house, and we were sitting in our living room, and we just had one of those moments that just kind of lit up and was inspired. And we know that it was just God was leading us in it. And we said, well, we really love our homes. You know, we grew up, we saw our mom just making our home a special place. When she didn't have the money to do it, and that really affected us. And so our hearts are in our homes, and making our home special for our families. So what could we do? And we started thinking of all of these creative products that could be used to upcycle your home, and similar products to what were in the paper crafting, so we knew it could be done. And we brought it to the company that we were licensing to at the time, and they said, you're crazy, that will never sell. No, we're not into that. But we don't take no for an answer, so we kept on, and we had a good relationship with the art director, and so we just kind of needled her until she said yes. And they let us do it, and we're very thankful for that. They went ahead and went forward with those ideas, and it did not hit right in the beginning.
Yeah, it took part of the...
Bobby knows.
Yes.
We were hitting the pavement like we did when we went door to door selling vacuums. We were going to shops individually, and Bobby's shop was one of the shops that we went to, because we wanted to hear the feedback directly from boutique owners that had shops that we would want to be selling in. And so that was, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, it did it. It took us beating the street and knocking on doors and reaching out to the people in the chalk and mineral paint industry. And it was extra challenging because the company we were licensing to, they were paper crafts. So their world wasn't in furniture.
Yeah.
In fact, we were talking about chalk paint, and they were like, oh, you mean chalkboard paint? And we're like, no. Chalk paint, it's different. And there's a shop up the road, because we live further east. There's a shop up the road, go check it out, and da-da-da. And in the meantime, so it was a team of two, beating the street, knocking on doors. And once we started getting it into the hands of the people, and everybody's busy, so that took time.
Especially, you guys know, shop owners are very, very busy. Some of you are shop owners, so you know that. Yeah,
very busy. So, but it started to catch. And it's funny because it was like this for, would you say, a year and a half, 2 years. It was a slow burning increase, and then it's like we hit a point, and y'all were getting it. Y'all were getting it, and it blew up. Yeah. And we never had to. Well, a time came when it was time to part ways and to go. We decided to go independent for various reasons. You know, the Lord has you on a path, and it's never or rarely just straight, right? So we decided to go independent, and we had these wonderful relationships with these stockists that we had grown to know, and the rest is history.
Yeah. So we've been doing it now since 2018. So for 5 years. And it has been, I think some of the things that have surprised us, and this is where I'm trying not to get teary. Some of the things that have surprised us about what has become important, why we got into this originally became a different reason why we're staying in it. Because when you guys tell us stories, like a gal came up and told us that she was coming in, that she doesn't travel, that she's here for the first time, and that just means the world to us. And we hear stories. One woman wrote us a letter about how her son had passed away and she lost. She was in mourning, and our products brought her joy. And now she's creating, and it helped her find her way back. The honor that we have to be in people's lives and to bring people joy brings us so much joy. So that is why we feel so honored and privileged to be doing what we're doing.
And just to piggyback on that, I'll be completely honest. At first, when we started getting, folks started reaching out to us and sharing these things with us, I didn't understand how it could make such a difference. And I thought, well, they're products. We do our best to give our best and make the best quality product.
Make pretty stuff.
Make pretty stuff. But after a while, in this pattern of, I started to get it, and I started to realize it makes a difference, because it's just something that they can create. It's the creativity being pulled out of them that makes a difference.
Empowering.
Yeah, it's empowering. And it's not just obviously our product. Lots of creative products do that, but to get the privilege of being a part of that. And I don't know how many letters, emails we've gotten of people sharing that, and it always chokes me up, because it's like, sometimes you guys will say, thank you so much for doing these products, and we're like, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you guys sincerely for using our products in a way that's meaningful to you. If it weren't for you guys, we would have no one to make them for.
Yeah.
It's truly a team. It's a symbiotic relationship, and you guys, and the fact that it means something to you is everything to us.
Yeah.
I have one question.
So when it was time for you to go independent, I would imagine that would take a lot of courage. How was there hesitation, and how did you know that was the direction you should go, and where did you find that courage?
Well, I'll take the how do you know it was the direction you should go? I told her, and this reminds me of the story of Pharaoh, because we were trying really hard to make it work and to look at, like, how can we just make it work in this way? And the door just kept getting shut. You know, well, maybe if we do it this way, or we ugly cry. Maybe if we do it this way, and just really bending over. It's like God was pushing us out of that nest.
Yeah.
And it was like
trying to stay in different ways.
Yeah, trying to stay in different ways, to be more flexible in this way, to, you know.
Yeah.
And the door just kept closing, and it became clear, like, I believe God is telling us it's time to go.
We're either going to go out on our own, or this brand will be no more. Those were our two options.
Yeah.
At that point, and I think God knew it had to be that way, or we would not leave. Because, you know, we each have 6 kids.
What you know.
And we had, we didn't have a big savings to go, you know, to put in, but each family, we put in everything we had in savings to get started.
But there was those times asking ourselves, can we do this? Can we even do this?
Right.
Like, the money that it's going to take, figuring out our sourcing, and all along the way. I mean, whenever I look back, it's such a confirmation to me in the way that God works, because so many of the things that happened that I thought I told Sally at one point, we're done, we're finished. This door was closed in a way that is gonna ruin our plan. And that very thing that was meant to shut us down was the thing that opened a door that was better. Yeah. That was more than we could have imagined, and brought us to the person that became a partner in our sourcing, that became a source of encouragement and made things that seemed impossible possible. And just it's a testimony to the way God works in our lives, and to trust Him.
And learning it's a constant process, and we are constantly being reminded that God has this, and this is not our doing. God He has our backs. He's leading us. He's guiding us. He's in it. Every blessing that has come from this company is because of Him.
It's so true. Yeah. But so many of the times it looked like something that was going to be to our detriment. Right. And it turned out that it was a flipped script, and it actually benefited our business. So yeah.
Isn't that inspiring? So I think the takeaway for me is that you can do so much more than you think. God can part the seas. I don't know if you read the quote out front, but He turns seas into highways. He turns bones into armies. He turns graves into gardens. He's the only one who can. And it's happened. Their story is so similar to mine. So whatever you're facing, just try and look at it as a blessing in disguise. Something personal happened to me. Then 2 nights ago, couldn't sleep, tossing and turning over worry, and I just have to constantly remind myself and thank God when those scary things pop up. And I just thank you, God. I know you're gonna work this out some way, and it's universal. We all go through very hard things. And so I wanted you to hear their story because I know a little bit about it, and it's definitely a Red Sea story. Yeah. Yeah, for me, when I knew it was time to go independent, it was truly God saying, do you want to keep sleeping on your mom's couch, or do you actually want to walk through this door and see what I have for you?
After being inspired by the IOD sisters and Debbie, the paint party went into full effect. And let me tell you, it was exactly what I needed. Debbie opened up all her crafting supplies, and we all went to town creating ornaments, signs, painting pumpkins, you name it, we painted it. And it was definitely exactly what I needed. And just like that, folks, the 4 days were over and we were headed back home, but my adventures did not end here. In those bags, I had all that silverware and those wheels, and let me tell you, it didn't end pretty at the airport. Prior to going to the airport, I checked the airport website and they said I could carry knives, butter knives, through the security. Well, that did not end well because I ended up going through security. My bag got red flagged. They opened it up. They had to take out all my clothes, including my dirty clothes, and they had to then check each of the knives. And then Jamie Ray Vintage ended up giving us all bath salts. Well, that got red flagged as an explosive. They thought I was trying to explode things, so they had to test it for that. In the end, everything turned out okay, and they sent me along my merry little way, but was told in the future, make sure you don't carry vintage silverware. So this was an absolutely amazing experience, you guys. And if you ever get the opportunity to go see Debbie Beard's shop, I would highly encourage it. She is so inspirational and we had such a fun time with her. I am so blessed that I can be part of the DIY team along with the IOD team as well. I cannot wait to attend the next conference and be inspired by all these amazing ladies in this industry. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I can't wait to hear what you guys all think. See ya Friday.